We're back to where we were before the 2018 Inter-Korean military agreement that aimed to prevent clashes at the border. A day after South Korea partially suspended the accord in response to the North's first successful spy satellite launch, Pyongyang has essentially torn it up. And for good measure, North Korea reportedly test-fired a ballistic missile overnight. We'll come to what we know about North Korea's spy satellite and how well it's working so far in a moment, but first, its statement on the 2018 deal. The North's defense ministry said via state media Thursday that it will never be bound by the agreement anymore, warning that South Korea must pay dearly for its decision to at least suspend part of the tension reduction measures along their heavily armed border. The ministry announced, "We will immediately restore all military measures that have been halted according to the North-South military agreement." In line with that, North Korea has said it will deploy more powerful armed forces and new types of military hardware in the border region. South Korea's justification for its move a day earlier was to immediately restore reconnaissance and surveillance operations near the border. Seoul was joined by the US and Japan in condemning North Korea's satellite launch late Tuesday night as a violation of UN Security Council resolutions, while also raising concerns about potential Russian tech support. But North Korea's defense ministry defended its satellite launch as a legitimate exercise of its right to self-defense, claiming South Korea will be held wholly accountable in case of an irretrievable clash between the two sides. That said, South Korea's defense ministries accused North Korea of repeatedly violating the 2018 agreement, claiming 3,400 times so far, insisting the accords seriously limited South Korean aerial surveillance capabilities. According to military sources here, surveillance and reconnaissance assets, including unmanned aerial vehicles and aircraft, were deployed by the South to the border area from 3 p.m. Wednesday. But within hours, it wasn't hard for South Korea to spot some significant activity as the South's military announced that the North fired an unspecified ballistic missile Wednesday night, though it appeared to have failed. What seems to be working better is the Malilgyong-1, its newly launched spy satellite. After a comprehensive analysis of its flight track data and other signs, South Korea's military judged that the satellites entered into orbit. But the South says more time's needed to determine whether it's working properly and has so far downplayed North Korea's claim to have actually already captured images of US military bases in Guam. What we can say is that a miscalculation by either side could be disastrous. Beyond surveillance at the border through aerial operations, South Korea suggested it could go further with border military exercises if the North takes further actions in violation of the 2018 agreement, or whatever remains of it.